All right, welcome to our training today, everybody. So as you can see on my screen, we're going to be talking about a company called Imgur today. Looks like Imgur, but IMG is sort of the shortened version of image, and you call it Imgur. So Imgur.com. Some of you guys had said that you had heard of it or you know a little bit about it. Let me show you what it looks like. This is sort of like the Reddit version of pictures. Okay, so Reddit we've been talking about over the past few weeks, and we've been talking about how you use Reddit to basically submit content in a social setting that gets upvoted or downvoted, and the stuff that gets upvoted a whole bunch gets seen by a lot of people, and the stuff that gets downvoted doesn't get seen by as many because it gets downvoted into oblivion and then nobody knows about it, right? And so I won't rehash the basics of Reddit because we've talked so much about it. But what Imgur is it's where people come together and submit pictures that they take. Okay, but not just pictures; they submit GIFs as well, which are those little animated pictures. They look like a movie with no sound that are really short, right? You guys have seen those before. I've heard it compared. This is a good comparison. A lot of you guys know what Pinterest is, right? Pinterest is very much the same thing, only a little more catered to women. They say Imgur is more like 70% male. So not as many males use, or not as many females use Imgur as males do. But you could say the same thing for Pinterest. So it's like it's for males more, or it appeals to males a little bit more, just like Pinterest statistically appeals to females a bit more. So that's your demographic. Not to say that women don't use it, because they do. It's just not nearly as prevalent. Okay. And so you come to a place like this, you register an account, and you basically submit a picture, and that picture goes out onto the Imgur platform, and then people can decide to upvote it or downvote it and leave comments on it. Okay. I'll give you an example. I'm on the home page here, so I mean I could click on any of these images that are showing up. Let's click on this one right here. Pretty random, right? In fact, if you sat here on Imgur, you can show what your preferences are, so you can kind of see what images are more interesting to you. But I can hit next post, and it's going to give me something else. And I can hit next post, and it's going to give me something else. This person submitted a picture of their cat, and you can put a caption on it. So the caption they say here is, "My cat is quite the handsome devil," or that's the title, and then they can put a little description right here. And then what happens is random people will start seeing this picture immediately. So, and then depending on how many upvotes or downvotes you get, the picture will either continue to get shown, or it'll slowly start disappearing and nobody will see it. So this person here that submitted this, you can see right up here. I know this is kind of small, the writing probably for you guys, but up here it says it's submitted by someone with a username called the Galactic Cat. That's their username, and it was submitted via an iPhone. So this person probably has just a normal iPhone or some sort of a smartphone, took a picture of their cat, uploaded it onto Imgur through an app, because you can get the Imgur app on your phone, and then submitted it. And within seconds, they're getting lots and lots of views on this thing. All the images that I've ever submitted, within a matter of a few hours, you're going to be getting thousands of views on your picture. Because there's a lot of people that sit here on Imgur and use it to waste time, or just, I feel like it's more of a time waster than anything else. You think about social media in general, a lot of it is just a time waster. But people come here, to have fun, to kill 5 or 10 minutes on their lunch break. I don't think Imgur is nearly as useful as Reddit is, but you got to know how to use Imgur because Reddit uses Imgur all the time. People submit content to Reddit that's from Imgur all the time, and so you guys need to know the basics of how Imgur works if you're going to effectively start to understand how to use Reddit really well. Okay, which is why I'm showing you this. You're probably thinking like, what, Trevor, what in the world? You're showing me a picture of a cat. Like, how does this actually like make me money on my website? Which is usually the question I get. Well, it does. You just, this is all to help you guys understand Reddit a little bit better. Okay. Who here that's with me live has actually used Imgur before? Like submitted something even to Imgur? Most of you guys haven't. I mean, majority of you haven't even heard of it, right? Now, let me ask you a question. How does Imgur make money as a company? Because they're a pretty good sized company. Based on what you guys know about affiliate marketing, you should be able to tell right away. You see right here? It's that ad. So Imgur doesn't sell anything, do they? But because there's so many users on this site, guess what? They start posting ads, and that's how they make money, or at least that's one way that they make money. They've also instituted something recently, and I'll show you an example of this, but they've instituted something where you can post a sponsored image, meaning you can pay for traffic to an image. Because in theory, you can actually market your website off of this stuff, right? Like, you know, you could put in a link, or you could put some text on a picture that's like, hey, come check us out at www.whatever.com, and you could get thousands of views on that pretty quickly. But you got to remember, if you understand at all the culture behind Reddit, and we've talked a lot about their culture, they don't like to be advertised to at all. And neither do people on Imgur unless it's interesting. Let me give you a good example of something that eBay did. Let me see if I can find the link here. Oh yeah, here it is right here. This is a promoted image that eBay put together. This, because it's animated, guys, what would you call this? This isn't a picture, it's a what? Yeah, it's a GIF, isn't it? It's like an animated image. So what happened is eBay created this GIF, and they call it tech transformations that happened in your lifetime. And you watch as you've got this really archaic computer with all this stuff and books, printers, books, magazines, telephone. You've got all this stuff on a desk, and then all of a sudden it's condensed into this single computer. So hence their title, Tech Transformations That Happened in Your Lifetime. Well, anyway, so as you go down and read this, they give this long explanation where they talk about gaming consoles, and they talk about portable music players and how those changed over time. But what you'll notice is they're embedding links into this content. See all these links, these blue links? This would redirect you out to eBay products if you clicked on those links. So eBay is essentially doing what a lot of you guys are trying to do. Okay, eBay is creating a really interesting piece of content, right? Something that a lot of people might see and be like, oh yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, the Nintendo's come a long way. Yeah, portable music players. Wow, they've come a long way. Wow, portable data. Do you guys remember these hard disks right here? Now you can get one of these as a little Yoda figure, right? Boom boxes, TVs, whatever. So all they're doing is they're creating kind of an interesting piece of content, and then they're embedding links into it. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this. because Imgur can be its own platform for marketing if you can submit something that's interesting enough. If you submit an image here that's not interesting, it'll get downvoted and nobody will see it. It's the same thing on Imgur as you dealt with on Reddit, or continue to deal with on Reddit. You can't submit garbage here and expect anything to happen from a marketing standpoint, right? And then below you can see people will come down and comment and talk about the image. It's very sarcastic. If you can imagine, if 70% of Imgur users are males, your content probably is best to cater a bit more to a male audience. Specifically, and I was reading an article just today. Let me see if I can find the comment that talked about the demographic of users on Imgur, which I think is important. Yeah, right here. I know you can't see this very well, but this is an article from Adweek, and it talks about how Imgur says that 75% of its audience is under 35, and 60% of its audience is between the ages of 18 and 24. So it's a young demographic. So imagine the typical person that's going to see your picture is between 18 and 24, and they're male. That's the typical user. Now, are there anomalies? Yeah, sure, of course. There's people that are older on there. There's women that are on there, right? There's lots of different demographics, but that's your typical Imgur demographic. And so you want to keep that in mind as you consider submitting content there, okay? Now, remember, this can be used from a marketing perspective, and it can be used from just a practical, user-based perspective, where you get on there and you just do Imgur like anybody else does it. And that's what I'm going to prefer you to do. Before we can even think of using this as a means for marketing, you have to understand how to use it as a typical user. I'm going to give you an example of something I did this week that worked out to help me in both Reddit and Imgur. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few weeks back, I got onto, this was in one of our trainings, I found a subreddit, and let me show you what this subreddit looks like real quick. I'm on reddit.com, and I am going to search for, I think it was the spider subreddit. So I'm going to do a search for spider, and I'm going to find it. Yep, here it is right here. Do you guys remember we were looking at a picture of a spider? Were any of you guys here for that one? We saw some squished up looking spider, and I think it was on this spider subreddit. Some of you guys are like, yeah, I remember that. This is a subreddit within Reddit. It's called Spiders. It's basically where people will post pictures of spiders that they find in hopes of trying to get some help identifying them. Okay. Here's a good example of that. This one right here was submitted 3 hours ago. It says, please tell me this is not a brown recluse. Okay. So if I click on this, it's going to take me over to Imgur. Okay. And somebody took a picture of this spider right here. I'll show you guys all the pictures for all of you spider lovers, if such a thing even exists, right? Okay, so there's the picture. It's on Imgur, and then you go and you can look at the comments on this picture. Where did it go? Let me reload the page. There it is. Okay, so I can click comments and I can see what people say to it. This person says it doesn't look anything like a brown recluse. If you took 2 seconds to Google brown recluse, you'd know it's not. I do not believe this is it. Can you see the sarcasm that gets spewed out here a lot of times? You gotta have a thick skin, right? I'm not saying don't get on there and post stuff, but this person obviously could have just quickly looked. But they're getting a lot of sarcasm. It's not one, and that's the feedback they're getting. Anyway, back to my original story. When I posted, when we saw that picture of that squished up spider, I got on here and I posted something like, do you remember? I said something like, "Glad it's dead. It's better off that way," or something. I posted a comment like that, and I posted it, just kind of showing you guys how to create a comment or whatever. Well, that comment got downvoted a whole bunch, like right away. It got like 7 or 8 downvotes within like an hour. And so what happened is, rather than my comment staying up here at the very top, my comment ended up all the way down towards the bottom with a bunch of downvotes, right? So nobody was seeing it anymore. Now ask yourself this question: why would that comment have gotten so many downvotes? What do you guys think? Don't most people feel that way, right? I mean, raise your hand if you like spiders. Not very many of you'd raise your hand. So was that an unpopular comment? You wouldn't think it would be, right? Yeah, but think about the audience for just a second, right? Some of you guys get this. Who in their right mind spends time on a subreddit like this? Spider people, right? People who love spiders and they're out there. People who think this stuff is way interesting. So when I got on there and posted that comment, I got blasted down within minutes because people are like, "Who's this guy?" Right? Why would he say something like this? This is you don't go to a group of spider lovers in like a spider club and immediately tell them how much you hate them and wish they were dead. so that's why it got voted down. And that comment was at the bottom of the list, right? So here's what I did for some redemption, because I didn't want a low score in that Reddit or in that subreddit. You remember, guys, you can actually track your scoring within a subreddit. If you go and look at your profile on Reddit, you can see how you're scoring within subreddits, right? I didn't want a low score there. So I was like, what can I do to improve my score? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I went out and I took a I was out in my yard just the other day, and I took a picture. I had my phone on me, and I was just out. I was looking at our raspberry bushes, and lo and behold, I saw a little spider sitting on the edge of a flower that was, or one of our bushes that's coming into bloom. This is what it looks like right here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. I'll zoom in a little bit. Can you believe phones take pictures this good, by the way? Isn't that crazy? Looks like this picture was taken with a really nice camera, but I just got right up really close to this random little spider sitting on the edge of this little pruned bush that's coming into bloom. Got a really good shot of it and snapped a photo. And I took it, I submitted it to Imgur first. And this photo right here, because it's a decent photo, right? It's close up, gives you some pretty good detail. It's a little jumping spider, right? And I've come to find out that there's a lot of people that think these are pretty adorable. This photo, within the space of a few hours, had 10,000 views on Imgur. And the reason why it had so many views is this photo kept getting upvoted, because people who randomly saw it were like, "Oh, it's a cool picture." Upvote, boom. The more upvotes I get, the more times this image got viewed. And so I don't know what the stats are on it right now. I think it 10, 15,000, and then it started to tail off later on. Because if it stops getting momentum and it stops getting votes, then it'll tail off and nobody will see the picture. Well, so I took this picture and I submitted it to the spider subreddit, and let me find, on one of my accounts, I submitted it, and you can see right here, look how many votes it got. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. On this spider subreddit, it got 91 upvotes. And if you look around at all the pictures, There's not many that get that many upvotes. So it stayed. This picture actually stayed at the top of the spider subreddit for several days. And because it stayed at the top, it started to get a tremendous amount of views. I'll show you the stats on it from Reddit, just to kind of give you an idea of how many views you can get on something. Let me look at let's check out this image in particular. I'll show you the stats on this one. Okay, let me zoom in here so you guys can see this better. But over a period of time from reddit.com right here, check this out. This is just from me submitting it onto that Reddit, that spider subreddit. I got 1,500 clicks on this. And that happened within the space of, well, I mean, it's still counting. So since I submitted it on March 20th, which was, 4 days ago, it got 1,500 views. And why did it get so many views? Because it hovered right up there on the top page of the spider subreddit. Now, if it would have kept getting upvotes, and it could have, it can essentially get pushed out of the spider subreddit. It'll always stay there, but it'll get so many upvotes that it'll potentially bump onto the top page of Reddit. And I told you guys that before. I mean, you'd probably have to get thousands of votes pretty quickly for that to happen. But if it ever gets to the front page of Reddit, your site's going to crash because you're going to get so many clicks, right? Now, what does this have to do with like me marketing my own websites? Nothing. That's the point, guys. I want you to use this as a means to yourself, just on a personal level, to have some fun using both Reddit and Imgur. I've already taught you guys how to use Reddit from a marketing perspective, and we'll do some examples of that. But these are the basics. You guys got to know this stuff. You got to create an Imgur account, and you got to try submitting some stuff and having some fun with it. You got to learn how it is to be a user before you can be a marketer on this stuff. And that goes for almost all social media. If you guys don't know what you're doing on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest, that's okay. Let's use it on a personal level first for a little bit, and then we'll show you how it can have direct impact on your marketing as a business, okay? So my takeaway tonight for you guys is go create an Imgur account and use that in conjunction with Reddit. I mean, for heaven's sakes, look through this subreddit right here, and you can see when somebody submits a link, it'll show where it's coming from right out here to the side. This one, so if we look at the top of this is from Imgur. This picture is from Imgur. This is from Imgur. That one's not. This one is. That one's not. This one is. This one is. This one's from YouTube because it's a video. This one's from Imgur. This one's from Imgur. A lot of the submissions for pictures, and it's not just the spider subreddit, you could go to any of the subreddits, you'd find a lot of them come from Imgur. So it's really important that you guys learn how to use it, and consider like taking a few pictures of your own and submitting them. Now, to your question earlier, Michelle, I think you asked, how do you submit something to a subreddit? Well, usually at the top of the subreddit to the right-hand side, there's two options right here. You can either submit a new link, or you can submit a new text post. Okay, if I click submit a new link, it's going to take me here where I need to put in a title and a URL. That's it. So my title might be, check out this huge black widow spider, okay? And then my URL might be a link to my Imgur picture of a spider, right? Got to create an Imgur account. I send my picture there to Imgur, and then I'm going to get a direct link that I could put right here, and that'll direct people out to Imgur from there, okay? That's how you submit a link. Now, this link doesn't have to be an Imgur link, right? Maybe this is a YouTube video, and I could put in a YouTube URL right here. Or maybe it's a link to my website. There's somebody who does this all the time in one of the subreddits I follow. They have this really great blog, and they create this fabulous content that's very related to the subreddit that I follow. And every week or so, they'll submit their latest blog post to the subreddit, and they get tons of traffic off of it because it's really well done, and people look forward to when they put in their link. So from a business standpoint, if some of you guys are still wondering, well, how does this relate to me making money online? Well, if you have a website and you've got decent content, you've got a great article, you've got an interesting picture, you have a product that's brand new and new to the market, you can put in a link just like this onto Reddit and submit it to its proper spot, whatever that subreddit is, and you can drive a lot of traffic on into your site. But as we've talked about before, you got to find the right subreddit for you. If I had some sort of like amazing spider selling business, which by the way, those exist, right? You can actually go out there and purchase spiders online, which is crazy. But if I had a business like that, I would find a way to create some cool content and submit it to this spider subreddit because these are my customers right here. I mean, the marketing doesn't get any more targeted than this, right? So anyway, we need to finish up anyway because we're just about over time. But do you guys have any general questions about Imgur and Reddit and how it relates so far? Some of you guys who haven't seen some of my previous content, your head might be spinning a little bit. But those of you guys who have seen it, what questions do you have? Does this make sense? Are you seeing? So, Christina, you're saying ads for placing Reddit ads are appearing. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you've gotten onto Reddit a bunch, you might start seeing some Reddit ads wherever you go. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can make so how do you make a link to other things? Just like that. So find your subreddit, and either you can submit a new link like I just showed you, or you can submit a new text post, and in a text post, you can do a title all the same, but here in the text, you could write something, and then you could say, find it here at http://www.myblog.com. You can put your link here in the text, and that'll be clickable, and people can go through that way too. So you can put a link to your website or your blog, but as we always say, be smart because you don't want to be blatantly advertising your e-commerce stuff because that'll get downvoted in a hurry. Yeah, I mean, if you want to create content, James, you need a platform to do it. So a blogger account is something you'll want. You'll already have one from the marketing department, so you won't have to worry about creating one of those. But yeah, I mean, if this is going to work, if you're going to make money off of affiliate ads doing this, you'll have to do it on a platform like WordPress or Blogger for sure. Yeah, definitely, Oliver. Try some humorous stuff, right? I mean, you saw how well my single spider one did, and all I did was I did just what I teach you guys to do. Find the appropriate subreddit, send in a piece of content that's not crap, and that was a good-looking picture of a close-up of a spider. Sent in, posted it on Imgur, posted it on Reddit, and all of a sudden that picture gets 10,000 plus views, and I get 1,500 views directly out of Reddit. That should get you excited. If you're connecting the dots, you got to be thinking, okay, well, what if I created a great blog post related to my business and I put it on my blog? What if I drove that traffic directly to my blog? Those people would be seeing my ads. They'd be seeing my Google ads that I'm going to get paid on, right? there's opportunity to make pretty good money. A guy I used to work with years ago, I think I may have mentioned it to you guys before, but he did manage to hit the front page of Reddit for a little while, for a few hours, and it crashed his website. But before his website crashed, because he got so much traffic, I can't remember exactly what the number was. I mean, I would guess it was in the neighborhood of several 100,000 visits within the space of a few hours. And he had Google AdSense on his piece of content. And he made, I can't remember what he made, but within those few hours, he made thousands of dollars off of that, off of hitting the front page of Reddit, just because he had those Google ads there. So it's pretty powerful. I mean, I don't think you should approach this with the intention of hitting the front page, because I don't think that's easy to do. But if you can even hit the top of your subreddit, like we've been talking about, there's money to be made there for sure. Yeah, yeah. Reddit rules are very, very particular, aren't they, Pam? You can't just get onto Reddit, and hopefully this has made a lot of sense, because we've talked about this over and over and over again. You cannot get on Reddit, have a site that sells whatever office chairs, and just post links to your site, trying to obviously sell office chairs. People see right through that. It's against policy. But how do you advertise office chairs? Well, you create a blog post that has a really great review of all the different types and has really great pictures, and you submit that, because that's not direct selling anything. That's simply just showing a review of lots of chairs that people actually might care about if you're in like an office subreddit or a chair subreddit. Then people link to it, then maybe you get customers directly. But the point is to share something useful and valuable and use that as a means to eventually sell your product. That's the point. That's why with this that we looked at, that eBay submitted, eBay is not posting their logo on here. They're not saying, hey, click here to come visit our site. They're posting a legit piece of content, and they're effectively embedding links into the content for advertising purposes. That's a good way to use Imgur or Reddit as a means to advertise. You got to be smart. James, I don't know. If you mess up, can you get kicked off? Yeah, but the thing with Reddit is you can easily create another account with another email address. It's not like getting kicked off of eBay where you can never get back on. If you get kicked off of Reddit, you can create another account. So it's not a big deal. I've never seen anybody get kicked off, though, honestly. Yep, every subreddit has their own rules. So you're exactly right, Pam. Like, if you get into the Spider subreddit, read the rules there, because there's moderators there, and if you're breaking the rules, then they'll kick you off. So every subreddit has their own set of rules. Good point. Okay, well, guys, we'll finish up. Thanks for coming along. These are creative marketing strategies. These are strategies to help you get traffic right away. They're strategies to help you with your SEO and your link building. This is really usable stuff. But again, use it first, then try to figure out how to market off of it. Okay? All right, guys, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Probably not going to do more Reddit next week. We've done enough over the last few weeks. I think we're going to move on and start talking about some other social networks and some other things that you guys can use. Start doing marketing. Okay? Thanks a lot. Hope this helped. We'll see you next time.